Okay, guys, please forgive me. My nose is a bit stuffy, so I'm gonna keep on making an unpleasant sound like, okay? God dang it. I want you to focus on what I'm showing you on this illustration. Ne? When we read the book of Mark chapter 10 verse 6, this is Jesus speaking, and you must remember that Jesus is God, okay? And what is Jesus talking about? He's speaking about Adam and Eve being created. If you have your Bible, open up Mark chapter 10 and read verse 6. It says, "But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female." Okay? Jesus was speaking about the fact, we were speaking about the issue of divorce and what's not, but let's focus on his words rather than what he's talking about. He says, from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. Now, I want us to look at Henry's point of view. All right. Now, according to Henry's point of view, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, it's creation. Okay. And then between verse 1 and verse 2, there's destruction or there's a catastrophe. Now, look carefully. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then between verse 1 and verse 2, there was a destruction, catastrophe. And then in verse 2, it's recreation. So from verse 2 going forth, you see, going forth. From verse 2 going forth, it's a recreation of the earth, which is a new earth, not this one that had been created here and was destroyed. He says this is one world and this is another world. This world was destroyed between verse 1 and verse 2. And then from verse 2, it's a recreation. Okay? So Adam and Eve were not, according to Henry's view, Adam and Eve were not created from the beginning of creation. They were created in the recreation, or from the beginning of a recreation, not from the beginning of creation. Because beginning of creation, 1:1, Genesis 1:1, and then destruction, and then Genesis 1:2, going forth, it's a recreation, and that's where Adam and Eve come forth. Meaning that here, there are species that lived and died before Adam and Eve came to being. Before Adam and Eve came to being, there was death, all right? There was death before Adam and Eve. We'll deal with the issue of death before Adam and Eve, but for now, let us deal with creation, destruction, and recreation. That is Henry's point of view. What is Jesus' point of view? Jesus says in Mark chapter 10, verse 6, from the beginning of creation, meaning from Genesis 1:1 all the way to 31, that period of creation is where Adam and Eve were created. He made them male and female from the beginning of creation. So Jesus is telling us that the creation of Adam and Eve did not take place in the recreation, but it took place from the beginning of creation. So whatever was happening from Genesis 1 all the way to 31 was the beginning of creation. It was creation. All right. That is why in Genesis chapter 5, we are told this is the genealogy of the earth in the day that it was created. So it's the genealogy of the earth from its creation, not from its recreation. So in other words, we have a point of view by Henry, which says in Genesis 1:1, it's creation, there's destruction, and then there's recreation. And then we have a point of view by Jesus. From 1:1 of Genesis, it's creation, and from the beginning of creation, Adam and Eve were created. Now the question is, who is right? Is it Jesus or is it Henry? Now, Jesus is God, so Jesus must be right. That from the beginning of creation, Adam and Eve were created and God made them male and female. Where? In the beginning of creation. So now we know just from this one verse that whatever was happening in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 was creation, not recreation. Because Adam and Eve must not appear in recreation, but they must appear in from the beginning of creation. So that is the basis of all the argument that I want to bring forth. So I'm about to send a voice note that is going to explain all this thing of creation. But for now, I wanted you to have this in mind.